Hey girl, hey! Sarah and Lexie, so sexy.
That's great.
What was something else you said? You know what I'm talking about? It's okay if you don't.
That's like so delusional.
I could probably just do this all day.
Oh my god. I love this.
Girl. Bye!
There. Becky's butt.
Hey girlies, welcome to Talk Girlietome, the podcast for the girls who overshare, overthink, and overachieve. We're your hosts, Sarah and Lexie. We're diving into anything from creativity to wellness to work and everything in between. Let's get into it.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Sarah and I have decided we will be talking about kind of a combination of a couple things. So first, we were chatting off the record about, how to say no to people and placing boundaries. I know we've kind of chatted about that before, but we're kind of looking at it from a different angle this time and how it can tie into finding what works for you. So we're going to chat about that and get each other's perspectives on how that comes up in our lives and what that looks like.
Yes, so to start off, I just want to give a little bit of what the meaning is based off of Google. Thank you, Google. It says, find what works for you, means to identify the methods, approaches, or strategies that best suit your individual needs, strengths, and preferences, allowing you to achieve optimal results in any situation, whether it's in your work, personal life, or daily routines. Essentially, it encourages you to experiment, discover what fits you best, and stick with it. And then it has some key points to follow. So we will be touching upon those between self-awareness, experimentation, flexibility, reflection, and I'm not sure if Lexie might have a few more. I don't know if what I'm seeing is different from what you searched.
That's okay. We can just get into it, talk about how it comes up and shows up in our own lives, and go from there.
Yes, good point. So a good point that I mentioned earlier was that to find what works for you, I really think the only way to do that is to just start doing. I think you can maybe see what someone else is doing and take it with a grain of salt, and then if you do what they're doing, you kind of make it into your own and do what's best for you and what works for you. And you'll kind of just find that out by doing it. Which I feel like sometimes that can be paralyzing because it'll make you not want to start. Sometimes you're just well, I don't even know how to do it or where to start or how this is going to work or whatever it is. So you just kind of don't do it. But the only way, you just have to start. You just have to do it. And that goes with discipline and just, you know what? A good thing to say too is I saw somewhere that I feel is so true is that it takes 5 seconds for your brain to negotiate with you out of something. So if you tell yourself okay, time to go and do XYZ or start this, you have 5 seconds to go and just do it before your brain starts negotiating with you. So when people, when people say oh, it's a non-negotiable, whatever it is, if it's working out or working towards a business or any kind of personal goal, you just have to act on it so quick, to trick your brain out of it. And I think also a good way to get yourself to do something is getting ready for it. If you just focus on the baby steps, it's okay, step 1, I got to get dressed for doing whatever it is that I'm about to do, or I have to get ready, or whatever it is that you have to do to prep the thing. We'll just call it the thing. So
yeah, there's a fitness trainer that is she's a really strong advocate for that. She's look, just get dressed and drive yourself to the gym. If you still don't want to go into the gym and work out when you get there, then don't. But chances are, when you pull in that parking lot and you're right in front of the gym, you're going to go in and you're going to do a workout. You're not going to drive back home.
Yes, actually, I used to have a coach that told me the same thing. And there is points. I think it's happened to me twice, and I've been working out since like 2020. So I think that's like 4 or 5 years now. And there's been 2 times between that whole span where I did drive to the gym, sat in the parking lot, and I literally was like, I can't do this right now. I'm like, so whatever it was. And I really did go home, and I don't regret it because, the reasoning was always because I was like either in a lot of pain or my body just really needed some sleep. So yeah, otherwise,
So it's good you listen to your body in those instances.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you, Lexie.
Yeah. But the 5-second rule, I love that too, because it also reminds me of a TED Talk I just watched. I would give a shout out to who was the speaker, but I've forgotten at this point. If I remember, I'll put it in the show notes. But she basically said approach she uses in her life is before she can talk herself out of doing something, what she'll do to work herself up to doing it is in her head, she'll just count down, okay? 3, 2, 1, go. And then she'll just go. Like she'll just start doing it. She'll start walking in the direction of whatever it is. She'll start, just working towards whatever she may be trying to avoid. And then by the time she's in front of it, she's like, well, have no choice now. Guess I have to do it.
Yeah, so there was, what was I gonna say? Sometimes I get like so distracted. Like I'll be talking and then my brain wanders.
That's okay. It gave me time to find the TED Talk I was talking about to mention the speaker. So the speaker was Emily Jansen, I think is how she pronounces it. It's Jaenson. And this is a TED Talk from a couple years ago, but it's really good. The title of it was 6 Behaviors to Increase Your Confidence. So if you're looking for a little motivation, I recommend that video.
That's what I'm saying. So when I don't feel like going to the gym, sometimes I will trick myself by telling myself like, oh, like I'm just going to go and I'm just going to do like Stairmaster for 30 minutes, which is normally like my cardio. So I'll tell myself like, I'm just going to do cardio. But honestly, by the time I'm dressed and I'm in the gym and I'm there, I'm like, well, I might as well just do my squats, or like, I might as well just do my whole fucking workout. Like, sorry.
Yes. Well, I've done that too. It works sometimes.
Yeah.
But that kind of is, okay, here's a great segue, because speaking of working out, that is something that I have had to change in my life to find something that works better for me. Because for the past 3 or 4 years, I've been working out pretty consistently, going to the gym. I had an accountability partner, and we kept it up really well for a while. But then it just got to a point where my body was just so sore and achy and uncomfortable and stiff, and going to the gym just got harder and harder. Like, it just being there frustrated me. I couldn't find the motivation, and I would try to get myself there, but then I would miss a week, I would miss 2 weeks, and then I'd get back into it, and then I'd have to start over, and then I'd miss a month, and I'd miss 2 months. And I was like, okay, something's clearly not working anymore, where for 3 or 4 years I could do this, but now for some reason I can't. And there's probably a lot of factors. There's been a lot of changes in my life this past year, so that's understandable. Yeah. So instead of fighting it, I'm trying to find ways to embrace this change that my body is going through and that my mind is trying to tell me, and just trying to find new ways to stay active. So, I got a walking pad for my home so that I could walk when it's super, super cold outside and I don't want to go out, or when it's snowing, so I can still get that motion in for the day, the activity. Another thing that I think I'm going to start doing is just dancing, because dancing is a lot of fun, and it doesn't really take myself a lot of encouragement to do that. Whereas if I told myself to do, a 30-minute like weightlifting routine, it would take a little bit more discipline.
Yeah, I want to really emphasize, like, if you're not enjoying it to some degree after, like, a certain amount of time, because I feel like when you first start going to the gym, it's, like, hard and it's hard to get into it, but, like, if you're, like, I feel like it's so different with Lexie in her position because you've been doing it for a few years and you're at a point where you're like, I literally just do not want to like do this anymore. There's so many other ways to be active, you know? So that's a way of finding what works for you. So, you know, Lexie, I think, is in a position where she's just trying to find what works for her and her new phase of life. So,
exactly. And I may go back to the gym eventually. I think I just need a break from it. I just need to mix it up every now and then, do something a little bit different, find that passion again.
Yeah. Honestly, I took a 2-week break because I don't know. And that was probably the longest amount of time I've taken a break in a while. Like, I'm pretty consistent, and even when I like go on vacation, I go to the gym. And during like Christmas break and New Year's Eve break, I was just like, you know what? Like, for once in my life right now, I'm just gonna not go. And like, I honestly didn't like it. I did feel very sluggish, and I like found appreciation for it again from like not going. I was like, oh, like now I remember why I go, because it makes me feel so good.
Yeah.
So now I'm like happy to be back. And I will say I am beside myself on how freaking sore I was this week, because this week was my first week back in 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I could not walk. I was waddling around like a penguin. It was so terrible. I could barely get out of bed or like sit on the toilet. It was rough. So
well, you know, I'm actually proud of you for taking that rest time, because I know it's not something you're going to do all the time. And that's the thing. You were always so hard on yourself to the point where like you are very ambitious and you have, you know, goals and you're disciplined. But I feel like sometimes you don't let yourself rest. So I'm proud of you for letting yourself rest for a little bit before, you know, starting again.
Thank you, Lexie. I don't think like anyone really says that to me or anything. I'm like getting emotional.
You're
right
gonna
now.
cry.
I don't know. Well, like, because I really am really. Let me say really one more time.
I really
am just like hard on myself about it, because I don't know. I have this, I am trying to get out of this mentality, but sometimes I feel like if I miss a day, I'm gonna like look like shit the next day. But it's like not true. Like if you miss a day, you're gonna look the freaking same. Yeah. So, yeah, that's just not real.
People have different motivators. As long as you keep it balanced, keep yourself in check, don't, you know, try to go too far to the extreme on it. But, you know, in a way, I think it's just your way of motivating yourself. I was actually talking with my partner about this last night, and I was talking about all these ways that I have healed and I've grown, and I've been in therapy for a couple of years, and I've learned so much, and I'm so self-aware. But at the same time, that self-awareness has killed so much of my motivation to do things, because where I once used perfectionism or fear or people-pleasing to motivate me to get stuff done, I don't use those things anymore to motivate myself, because I've come to a place of just, again, healing and self-awareness around those topics that I'm like, well, fuck, what do I use to motivate myself now?
Oh my God. I feel that so hard too, actually. I know what you mean, because it's like when you don't feel that need to, that is a motivator.
Because you're like, oh, well, what's the point then? But like, clearly there are other points. Like the point is to be healthy. The point is to take care of yourself. But sometimes that is not as strong a motivator for me as the other things, which is unfortunate. And I'm trying to find a new way to motivate myself. But nobody talks about the other side of healing and how harder it can make things sometimes. Whereas in my past, it was kind of easier to get stuff done because I had all of that fueling me.
I feel that. I think you're making me realize it more and more, because I feel like I've lightly thought about it, but I kind of was like, nah. 'Cause I think that when a couple years ago, I do feel I was getting a lot more done than I am right now, because I just wanted to look like perfect and like I could do it all and that I had it all, and that, you know, I had, that I was disciplined and I had the body and I had the business and I was doing it all by myself, and I was just like Miss Independent Young Woman, and I liked that feeling. And then I loved when like somebody would come in my boutique and be like, oh my God, I see you online and I'm so excited to meet you. And be like,
Oh,
yeah,
that's so
me.
cool.
Like, yeah, but it's so
celebrity over here.
it's so superficial though and not real, because what really matters is like what more of like what the people that you care about think, and then what you think about yourself and how you feel with yourself. And so now that I like don't have serendipity style anymore, I think that I like grew out of it, and now that I'm like in working towards something else that I honestly probably definitely should be more focused on, and I haven't been very focused on it for the last 2 months. And because I haven't been very focused on it, I do kind of actually, I'm going to be very vulnerable right now. I feel a little bit of a fraud even like recording this podcast, but I know that like if I didn't continue this podcast, I would just get like really sad. So I'm like, no, I need to continue it even if I have been not, you know, working on my new business plan for the last couple months. But I think finding out like your why is really important. And I think having a why that is superficial to like caring about how you look to people in the outside world is just not good for longevity.
Yeah, it's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. It wears off after a few years,
or it's just exhausting, and it becomes something you can't keep up with.
So
But I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was feeling the same way. And I think that's part of, well, we did run into the holidays, so we stopped recording for a little while, took a step away from it all. And coming back to it was, I don't want to say difficult, because it wasn't difficult, because I love having this podcast with you. It's so fun. I love processing our thoughts together and bouncing ideas and just talking and just discussing and just like, you know, all these different topics that come up in the process. But definitely feeling a little imposter syndrome myself. And I know we even made an episode on that.
We did. And I told you that I don't fucking feel that shit. And now I feel it, but it's because of my lack of like working basically.
Yeah.
So
I don't know where mine's coming from exactly, but probably a little bit of that. And also just thinking, I think I just got in my head, I was like, okay, well, what makes me qualified to talk about this? But then I have to remember, you know, I'm actually remembering points of the imposter syndrome episode we recorded, and remembering what we said during that episode kind of helps remind me that like, hey, we don't have to be experts. We never claimed to be. We're really just talking and offering a unique perspective that is ours and nobody else's. And that is what we offer. And it might not be for everybody, and that's okay.
I was just going to say, like, the purpose of a podcast, I feel, is really to just feel like you're part of the conversation, whatever the conversation is. Because when I listen to podcasts on my commutes, I'm like talking to them, even though they can't hear me. Like,
I really do feel like I'm in a room with them, and it's so nice.
Yeah. So when I imagine people listening to us, I imagine people either sitting there being like, oh my God, yeah, that is so true. Or they're like, what the fuck are they talking about? Like,
yeah, it's meant to be relatable. It's not meant to be a lecture. So I think we're okay. And that's also, you know, that's also just part of the evolution of it all. We don't have to stay in this box of what we originally set out to do, because this will naturally evolve and progress on its own. And sometimes we sit down to talk about one thing and then we end up talking about something completely different. So I think it's just all part of the fun of it. And I think we just have to remember not to take it too seriously. And I think that's also part of just finding what works for us with this podcast.
Yes, that was perfect. The way you just wrapped that up, that was great.
Yeah, nice little bow on top.
Yeah, with that, honestly, and I'm so grateful to have you to figure that out with, because I don't think I would be able to do that with many people. I can't really picture anybody else, because you're like in the same mindset of just like being laid back about this and making it fun. So it's like, I feel like us finding what works for us with this podcast is like similar. I don't know. It's just like working.
It is, because we're both in that approach of like, okay, let's just do it. Let's just do it and figure it out along the way.
Yes. Yeah. I love that.
And I feel like we have. Like, we're getting closer to finding a format that works for us. And, originally I remember we sat down for the first episode and we took 30 minutes just trying to figure out how to start it. Just thinking about the intro took us a while. But now we're just like, okay, let's begin. And then we begin and we just start talking, and it just comes so naturally now.
You know what we're doing without even realizing it is reflecting right now. And that was one of the key points we talked about. Yeah.
We are. No, that's a huge part. Okay, so proven, that's super helpful.
Yeah.
It's effective for sure.
It's effective. I think that when you're finding what works for you, you kind of just naturally touch on these key points without needing to like think about it too hard. Self-awareness. You need to just know, like, okay, do I, this is very general, but it's like, oh, am I a tactile learner? Do I learn by like reading or by like watching videos? Like, everybody's different with how they learn. So I think that can involve that. I think it can mean many different things, but also just knowing if you rather work shorter hours than longer hours. Like, I actually just talked about this with my partner, who he was always suggesting to me to like bang stuff out, meaning like just put in 6-8 hours and get it done. But that does not work for me. It makes me hate doing what I'm doing when I do that. So I have to like put in maybe like 4 hours at most, and then I either need to like take a break and get back at it, or I just get back at it the next day and put in another 4 hours. Like, I rather do like more days and shorter hours, I think.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think the longest I can go max is 4 hours at this point. There are very few things I can do longer than that without getting restless or frustrated and need to take a break.
Which is hilarious, because the world we live in, the standard work time is 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. So it's like, okay, the fact that we work, 8 hours a day, and I'm not going to lie, like, I think at both of the last 2 jobs I've had, like, there is like an hour or two, sometimes more, where I'm just like zoning out, kind of, because I'm like so tired and drained, because your brain just gets drained, or at least mine gets just drained after just focusing on one thing for so long. And I don't know, maybe that's the shorts have killed my attention span, or I don't know what, but
maybe a little bit of both, but I'm with you. I mean, I used to work in the service industry, and that's different because you are on your feet and you are doing something the whole time you're there until you leave. So that's a little bit different when it comes to the working hours, but still, it's a lot on your body. It's a lot on your mental stress, emotional stress, emotional labor, being in customer service. That's a long time to be doing that with no breaks. Of course, people usually have their lunch break, but that only does so much. But even if you have an office job, most people aren't actually doing 8 hours worth of work in a day. That's just not the reality of it.
Yeah, that's true. And I think about, I'm really grateful with my job. I have a 1 hour break, and I'm just like, oh, thank God, because So that hour goes by fast too. And
It really does.
yeah, I use every minute of it.
But back to your point of taking little breaks and, just banging stuff out in bite sizes, like small goals. It's all about setting those small goals, and the small goals really help me build momentum. And it's that momentum that I need to keep. And instead of trying to maintain something that is so... Like, I watched a YouTube video on this the other day about a girl talking about her workout schedule. And she was like, for the longest time I tried to... do these huge workouts where I was like at the gym for 2 hours, and it was the thought of that just seemed so daunting and preventing me from actually exercising sometimes. So what she does now is she maintains some form of activity all week long, like every day, but it's not always something crazy. Like sometimes she just goes for a walk. Sometimes she just does some yoga. And then, the other days she's doing something more intense. And I'm a huge believer and advocate for that because it just seems a lot more sustainable.
Yeah, and that's really what we all strive for, is sustainability and longevity in whatever you're doing. So that sounds really great too. So that kind of goes with whether you prefer to work like longer hours or shorter and more days, or like less days,
Which reminds me, weren't you just talking about, you were reassessing your social media for your business the other day. We were talking about outsourcing. Can you remind me what was your idea for that?
I feel like a little overwhelmed with thinking about how involved I need to be with social media to get my business going. So I'm like, well, what if I just like get my business going and pay other influencers to promote my product? Which actually I talked to my partner about it, and he was like, he thinks that's not a good move. And I'm taking this with a grain of salt, he's just giving me his point of view.
Yeah, it's an opinion to think about. What were the reasons? I'm curious.
Well, he thinks that it will be very like money or financially consuming. I think it could depend on what influencers I decide to use, If I find like a micro influencer and work my way up, I think I'd be okay. But I see his point. It would be hard because on one hand, like I'm about to be 30, and I am at a point where like, I'm like, oh shit, like I need to start saving up to buy a house someday. Like I don't want to live in this small shitty apartment for forever, and there's just more in my life that I want, so that's going to involve me saving money to level up my I don't know how to put it, like my environment, not just like where I live, but like even like maybe my car or something. Or so it's really hard to figure out like saving money for my personal life, then also like doling out money for my business. Like I have to think about what's my budget going to be for that, because then I'm going to have to like pay for a production and samples and other stuff. So it's just a lot to think. But if I promote it myself, it's all about time over money. That's what that is.
Yeah, and you know what? Time is so much more valuable to me. I make money so that I can have more time to do things that I enjoy.
That's how I feel too, I think.
And that's always been the case for me.
Yeah.
But that's not everybody. I know plenty of people in my life who do not value time the same way as me, which I, have to respect that. But at the same time, I'm like, why? Because we're all going to die one day. And time is probably the most valuable thing we have, because that is what allows us to experience. And whatever you want to experience in this life before you die, like that's what's important. And yeah, you do need money to do a lot of those things too. So like money is important to get there. But at the same time, once you have that money, use that extra time for things that you enjoy. Why not?
Yeah.
But I'll get off my soapbox now.
Yeah, no, I feel you though. So I've just been thinking about that Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But,
and you can always just try it once and not break the bank. Maybe just try something that's not super, super expensive, see how it works, gauge it from there, track its progress, monitor the activity and just see if it pays off or not. Because if it does pay off, then it kind of pays for itself. But if it doesn't, then it could be expensive.
And that's great advice too, because that's just a trial and error process right there. So
right. Don't be afraid to fail. Just do it.
Just do it. Just do it.
As a wise Nike once said.
I think it's really weird for me to be in this position of like where I've never had to tell myself to just do it before. Like, it's kind of crazy because, I mean, you remember like when you met me, I was very much a just do it person. Like, I just was doing everything. And like, it's so weird to compare myself to today to back then, because I'm like, wow, like I'm two different people.
Man, I was doing that last night, and I was having a borderline existential crisis because I was thinking to myself, the older I get, the less I know. And when I was 16, I felt like I should feel now, and 27-year-old me feels like what I feel like 16-year-old Lexie should have felt like. It's like I feel like I'm further away from my goals, my dreams, my aspirations than I was when I was 16, which isn't the case because I have actually achieved all of the things 16-year-old me wanted and needed. Mm-hmm. But when I think it just comes down to I'm so aware of things now, whereas when I was 16, I really didn't know as much. And the more I know, the less I know, and the more lost I feel in general. And it's like, okay, well, what am I doing? It's a really weird place to be, which I know a lot of people experience this, and it's normal. It's just part of self-discovery and exploration and figuring life out, because there's really no rule book. And especially if you want to do things a little less conventionally than other people, then there's even less of a rule book for it. So yeah, it's interesting.
It's so tough because, there's no like rule book of like, oh, this is exactly what you need to do to get to whatever your goals are.
Right. So, it would be so much easier if there was. But at the same time, what's the fun in that? I feel like all of this is just part of the play. Life. It's just life. This is life.
This is life.
That's what I have to remind myself. I just thought of one way that I have been finding a way to find what works for me when it comes to my music. Because, in my corporate job, like that's pretty different. I feel like I've found a pretty good groove, pretty good rhythm about what works and what doesn't, how to approach, getting feedback from people to help me grow and learn. Like, that's fine. That's a different animal. But when it comes to my music and what I want to share of myself with the world in a way that can be pretty vulnerable, just like this podcast. Mm-hmm. And I was, I've always been thinking like, okay, well, what sets me apart? What do I bring to the table that other people don't? How can I contribute value? And I was thinking, and it just came to me one night. I was like, okay, well, I have these experiences that are unique to me because, none of us are the same and nobody experiences the same exact thing. Or even if we do experience the same thing, we interpret it and experience it differently just because of our memories and our opinions and perspectives. And it had me thinking of all of the journal entries that I have, because I've been keeping a journal since I was like 10 years old. So that's 17 years right there of just experiences. And a lot of these experiences that I wrote about, I also wrote songs about, and I dated them. So what I decided to do is I'm taking the dates that I wrote these songs that I'm going to put out and share with the world. And then I'm going through my journals and finding those same dates to find the moments that inspired these songs. And I'm going to start sharing parts of these journal entries in the captions of my song posts to help people see it from my perspective or just like relate to the experience or like whatever it may be. feel like that's a really cool way
really
to
cool.
share like more of the story.
Yeah. That is really cool. You know what that reminds me of is, in a very different way, but I don't know, you probably haven't seen this, but Selena Gomez came out with a like documentary, I think it's on Hulu, just about like her kind of journey in her career and how she found out she had lupus and all this stuff. And in the documentary, there was key points where she posted, you know, what do you call it? Just like journal entries. Yeah. Like whatever she said, and literally you could see like the handwriting, like she would post like her actual, and then she'd like read it out loud, and
That's cool.
it was kind of cool. Yeah, it's cool because you can, it's so cool to be able to look back and see what you said to yourself on a random day years ago. And I have the same thing. I've been writing in my journal since I was little. I don't even know. I have dates that go back to like 2002. It's crazy. So, and like some of them I can't even read. Like because I could barely write at that age. So it says like weird shit. Like, I hung out with Liza today. It was fun. Like literally. Yeah. But or I could go go back and read you my entry for when I had my first kiss. So
Yep.
yeah.
Same,
yeah, I'm sure you can too. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some spicy entries too. You know, I felt like I was reading my journal the other day and it felt like I was reading a smut book. I was like, ooh, this is actually really good.
Ooh, what?
It's really fun reading back. Yeah, just past me, present me, future me, just colliding all at once. It's really cool thing to experience. But yeah, so that's one way I've found that, because I'm just terrible at following trends. First of all, I hate most trends that come out, and I don't want to make a stupid video about these trends, even though that's what people recommend you do, to be caught through, by the algorithm. But I just really don't care. I just want to express myself the way I want to express myself. And if that means I get less views, then so be it. Because at the end of the day, I'm just doing this for me. For the most part, it's not what's going to make me money, so I don't have to worry about that aspect. I'm just doing it for fun and the art.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, you have to remember, like, why you're doing it, too, and make sure that you're receiving whatever that is. If
Exactly.
that's how I treat this podcast, too. It's like, if this podcast became not fun, then like I'd be like, why are we doing this if this isn't fun to us anymore? Yeah. And I think that's why we're both very careful to like not make it feel like work.
Exactly.
So
I never want it to feel like a chore. And like, yeah, not to say that we don't put work into it, because we are, but it's fun work.
Yeah, work can be fun, especially when you're doing it with a friend. Like,
yes, that makes a huge difference for me. So it's interesting when I'm doing creative projects. When I'm writing music, I prefer to do it by myself. And then when I'm done doing my part, I'll bring it to somebody else, if they want to add or take away or collaborate. But I don't want to do it at the same time. That just does not work for me. I don't like it. It stresses me out. It gives me a writer's block. I just can't think properly when I'm in the room with somebody else also making music. It's just like super distracting.
Really?
But when it comes to work, like if I have a work project, I can go both ways. Like, yeah, it's nice to have other people to help with it. But at the same time, if I have to do it all by myself, then I like that too. But for something like this, I feel like I need another person to talk to.
Yes.
Otherwise, I feel like I would get stuck.
Yes. I mean, honestly, kudos to anybody who's doing a podcast like by themselves. I don't think a whole lot of people are. All I can think of is Call Her Daddy, but she started off with a partner and now she's doing it by herself. So, well, she's not like by herself. She's like a whole team, but like she just talks to herself essentially, or she'll have guests, my bad. So, yeah. I don't know where I was going in that. Podcasts are just better with another person, I think. But hey, if you can pull it off by yourself, kudos.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. I'm just not that much of a yapper by myself. It's all in my head. Like, sure, 24/7, there are thoughts going on. Like, my head is never quiet. But I'm not actually saying anything.
Oh, my God.
The voices.
All right. The voices. No. Okay, so another key point I see here. So we went over reflection, self-awareness. There's experimentation on here. Don't be afraid to try new things. Did we talk about that already?
Yeah, I feel like we kind of have covered everything just in talking about our experience.
Yeah, flexibility, be open to adjusting your methods as your circumstances change as you learn. That's exactly as you learn new things. That's exactly what you're talking about, flexibility. So it's like maybe like what you think works for you or what has worked for you for years might not work for you anymore, and like being aware of that is really hard. So actually, Lexie, now that I think about that, I'm pretty proud of you for being able to be aware that what has worked for you just isn't anymore, or that you need a break, or that whatever it is, like that requires a lot of self-awareness, I think.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's frustrating because I feel like as soon as I figure it all out, it changes on me. So that's super frustrating because I'm like, I got to do this all again. But I think life would probably be pretty boring if it stayed the same all the time.
All the time. Yeah, true. Yeah, I even with like, I do get bored with my workout routines. So I will go to like my partner who he writes my workout routines, and I'll go to him sometimes and be like, hey, can we like change this up a bit?
Yeah, even just swapping out an exercise for a different one works wonders.
Yeah, seriously. So, but yeah, we've touched on them all, and
that's kind of where we're at. Just find what works for you. Just do it. Trial and error. Don't be afraid to fail. Look stupid if you have to. Like, you'll get there eventually. You just got to do it. You just got to try.
Yeah. I know. I feel like I'm in such a weird place right now. It's so hard for me to talk about anything else. Yeah, I think we kind of both are, but I just, I know what I want to do, and I have a goal, but me figuring out how I want to get to that goal is kind of what I'm struggling with right now. I'm like, and it's kind of giving me paralysis. So, and
paralysis.
Thank you. Paralysis.
Paralysis.
Wow. I think I made up a name. Oh my goodness. So,
yeah. No,
but I really just,
I feel that. Well, I kind of do. I don't know. I feel like for me, it's like I achieved everything I set out to achieve, and now I got to figure out new goals. And I'm like, well, what do I want to do? I like making music. That's obvious, but that's for fun. Like, what else do I want to do? That's not going to keep me busy all the time. So, yeah, it's this weird thing.
What is your goal for music? Like,
that's the thing. I don't really have a goal for music. It's just something I like doing. So I think my next goal in life is to just travel.
Ooh. It would be so cool if you did, you should do like a single tour type thing. Maybe. I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah. It's always really hard to suggest things to another artist because you never really know what the other artist is like truly wanting for themselves. It's like, it's a very personal thing because it can be hard when like other people suggest things to me. Like, honestly, like 80% of the time I'm like, no, that's not what I want. Yeah.
Because it's so personal.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. But it is nice to hear other people's ideas, and maybe
I know
every now and then one will resonate.
I'm like trying to like not suggest too many things to you because I know how that can feel. I'm like, if I throw too many things out at you, you're gonna be like,
Yeah, I'll let you know. Sometimes it's just nice to talk about it. Just talking it out helps sometimes. Sometimes it's
what it reminds me of? It's like when your birthday was coming around and I was like throwing ideas at you and you're like, I don't feel like doing any of that.
But then you did mention one thing, and I was like, oh, actually, that sounds really fun. And then we ended up doing it.
You're right. You know what? You're right. I did. It took, you know what it is? It just took me a couple of tries. I just got to keep trying you.
But I said no when I didn't want to do it. And there's the full circle moment, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, yeah. I was telling Lexie.
No.
I was telling Lexie earlier, like, I really, there's a lot of times where, and she said she does as well, like, struggles with thinking about if the other person is trying to people please me or not. And that can be tough because you're like, no, just tell me what you want. But I don't worry about that with Lexie because Lexie very much will just say no. And I was like, wow, you know what? A woman who knows how to say no, hot. So, yeah, if you know how to say no to what you don't want, like, that is, like, having boundaries and all that is, like, the most attractive quality you can have about yourself. And that took me a long time. I didn't really figure that out until I was like 25. So
yeah, it's hard. It's difficult, but once you can do it and once you get over that hill, it becomes so easy and it makes life so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah, because then you're able to communicate to the people around you how to make you happy, and then you genuinely will just be happier and then it makes you realize, like, if the other people don't like that you said no or that you don't want to do it or whatever, or they don't like your boundary, that they are not for you. Like, that means they're selfish.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It really does help narrow down everything in your life. Like, you're not doing stuff you don't want to do anymore. You're doing stuff that aligns with you better. You're not around people that you don't want to be around. And that holds a lot of value. And then I feel like at that point, everything else just kind of comes a little bit easier because you don't have all these forces working against you. And you're not exhausted from doing things you don't want to do. And sometimes you just have to get fed up enough. Sometimes you just have to get to that point where you're like, you know what? No, I'm over it. I'm done.
I'm done. This is it. Yeah. And that's really important, mostly, I feel like, in relationships. But
big time.
Big time. But anyway.
Yeah.
I think
know how to
that's
say
everything.
no and figure out what works for you.
All right, Lexie, I could talk to you all day long, so we should probably wrap it up here.
Yeah, that sounds good. And if anybody listening wants to, head us up and send us things that you're experiencing in your life, that you're figuring out, what works for you over other things and like how you got there. Like, we'd love to hear that. That would be really cool to hear. And then maybe in the future we can maybe share some of those things. I don't know. We'll see.
I think a big thing is that Lexie and I want to just create conversations, and yes, I think that's really important because that helps with self-discovery. The more that you talk about it and share and just create conversations, and it'll help you get to where you want to be with your mindset and everything. So
period.
Okay, period. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your day, whether you're in your car going to work or if you're going home or whatever it is. Enjoy the rest of your day.
And we'll talk to you next time.
See ya.
That's it for today's episode of Talk Girlie to Me. If you vibed with it, send it to a friend, rate us 5 stars, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.